And welcome back once again, ladies and gentlemen, to Stage 2 of the Rainbow Six U.S. Nationals. I'm Blue, joined by Veli, and we're here covering the first week of the Eastern Conference qualifiers. Moving into our second match, which we got a good one for you, is DarkZero versus Spacestation Gaming.
So, two teams recently made two big team changes. Station Gaming, they picked up votes, and both teams have been having good showing so far, but it's not what we expected from this caliber of team. Space Station, yes, they've had, moments where, they've really showed out and showed that they've progressed, but they're still having that tie curse. But DarkZero, on the other hand, we saw them at the Allied Land, pretty disappointing finish. A lot of people expected them to really be a top hitter, especially after picking up Hyper.
Which we can take a look at that roster now. There was a lot of hype behind, no pun intended, behind Hyper. That was actually completely accidental. I would usually avoid something like that. But yeah, like we said, back at the minor, which was like the first real test for them, we didn't see much. But also, to be fair, they did say, apparently, that they were kind of just trying stuff out at the minor, and they didn't need to place high at that event. So we gave them the benefit of the doubt there. But then, last night,
don't say
what happens then?
Don't say
92 Dream Team shows up,
yes.
7-1s them.
Insane. And let's talk about Space Station Gaming. Some of the best content you will ever see in the scene. We're going to have Thinkin' Nate, Shala, Foltz, Rampy, and Boss Goat. And this team, listen, his name is Boss Goat for a reason. But Rampy, a really standout player along with players like Thinking Nate as well. Space Station Gaming, the expectations going into this matchup is high. Simply for the fact that you can't tie now. So we're definitely going to see who's the better team now. We're going to see if Space Station has that closing factor along their end.
Yeah. No ties are possible, hopefully, here at USN, so we get to avoid that curse unless somehow they, split the third OT.
They're going to tie somehow.
They're going to unlock some, hidden game mechanic where, the planter goes down the planter dies and the diffuser gets planted at the same time, and somehow that triggers a tie and round. Or, I don't know. But we've got the map veto still to get out of the way. It's pretty straightforward here since it's a best of one, so let's wipe everything away. What do we get? Border!
Okay.
That's where we're going to be playing at.
So, Border is going to be interesting because we don't have a lot of film when it comes to Space Station Gaming, as we were talking about before in regards to maps. They played it once, and what happened?
They tied it. Not a joke.
Yeah. DarkZero, on the other hand, So, you were saying that, hey, they went into Ally not expecting the most. They were trying things out.
Oh, actually, sorry.
Their situation is chemistry. What's up?
I have to correct myself. They actually haven't played Border at all.
They haven't?
Yeah,
okay.
I was looking at the wrong map.
Okay.
So correction. That as funny as that would have been. Sorry, I actually had the wrong stats there, so that's my bad.
It's corrected, but still, Hyper building chemistry with this team is going to be just important. It's going to be a process. It's not going to happen overnight like we've seen from other teams where, hey, they've picked up one player and they become the best team in the game. That's actually rare when it comes to esports. But in Rainbow Six Siege, the game is so complex, a lot of different play styles and operators to get used to when it comes to fitting into a team. I feel like Hyper is a standout, phenomenal player. His stats show it. But we need to see this team gel.
And the thing is there should have been a good amount of time for them to do that between scrims and whatnot, bringing them onto the team, the games that they played, the minor. And the minor's really hard to talk about DarkZero with since they never were actually on stream at any point.
Yeah.
So we don't know how their games really went. They went
1-3.
Yeah, they went 1-3 over on the group stage. I assume we know map scores by this point. The VODs I believe are all up by this point.
They are.
So you can look at them now and review it, but it's still a little hard to tell, obviously, with us not seeing it live there. But anyway, that's enough of our rambling and what we think of this matchup. It's time to see what you guys at home thought of the matchup and who's going to take home the win. And, between these two teams, it's very close, but the jury seems to be with
Space
Station. Wrong hand. Space Station Gaming for the time being. Forget that the camera's reversed.
Right. So, this is really going to be the tale of who is just coming out of Roster Mania. It's just better, just wholesomely better.
Yeah.
And it's pretty unfortunate to see DarkZero struggle, especially like what we saw with the 92 Dream Team, because this is really a top 2 NA team. We didn't expect this at all. And DarkZero, I believe they've been upset so far, along with Rogue, in these USN qualifiers.
When we talk about the new players fitting in, Foltz has done a great job. We did get to see play at some more recent events, and he was doing a really fantastic job, really making it look like he wants that spot. He wants to make sure that he's earned his position on the team and wants to work for it. So, you got to be careful for him. Hyper, we're still trying to figure that out, so.
It'll work out.
Yeah.
I have faith in him, man. But the one reason why I really like the Foltz pickup is that he's so versatile in the ops he uses. Recently in the past, we don't really see him stay on one operator. He's a jack of all trades. He's a super versatile flex player. So for a team like Spacestation Gaming where they need to change roles around, he's able just to put on any hat and perform. That's key to me. That's the standout player. That's a great teammate to have.
And it's someone that can very easily be slotted in too, which is another advantage that the guys from Spacestation might be getting over DarkZero when it comes to that new player aspect. But of course, all that's going to be tested in time here, as we'll see the two teams go up against each other in just a couple of seconds. We're just waiting to get the lobby finalized, folks. Then we're going to be jumping into the matchup, seeing who's going to come out on top. It's still a best of one, just like our other matchups. The winner will go through, and they're going to be facing off against the winner from our other matchup in a single best of one to see who goes through into the conference qualifiers. Let's get into it, though, folks. It's Border, and it's DarkZero Esports against SSG.
Last game, we saw the likes of Blackbeard, Jackal, Band. Let's see what's going to happen this time around. I wonder if it's pretty much a map-specific ban or just, you know, personal. First one is going to be Thermite. That's going to be Space Station's first ban. So that's going to be a huge blow, especially if you're trying to counter hard breaching with Habana, because Bandit, you know, he's going to be able to get rid of those pellets extremely fast. Buck being banned makes 100% sense, just in regards to the fact that Workshop is a place on this map.
It's not something you see very often, though, from my experience, so that's going to be a new one that we'll see slot in there. Mirror, of course, making sense for this map, too. She's going to get knocked out, meaning that primarily for Armory, we're not going to be able to see the amount of use we would normally get. She definitely has some spots on other sites, too, where those black eyes, or black mirrors, excuse me, can be useful. And Maestro, see, again, there's that trend of Echo being left in. Normally it's Echo that gets that ban instead of Maestro, but the last like 2-3 weeks, I don't know, it feels like it's been tilting.
Like I said before, I mean, it's pretty shocking, but we've seen Maestro get banned by a lot of pro teams, especially on this level so far. You would think that with a lot of nerfs coming to his Evil Eyes in regards to counters with Twitch and everybody else, that, you know, Echo would be banned more because IQ is really the only counter, but that hasn't been the case. And both operators are going to be in play, IQ and both Echo.
Yeah, I guess it's because IQ just isn't banned out enough yet. And also when you consider, too, that like a lot of rounds are still going down to just fragging power instead of the objective.
Yeah.
Like a good amount of rounds are still going to just kills instead of the objective. Like Echo, his primary useful point is going to be in those like really low time situations where he can interrupt the plan at 0 seconds and just win the round off that. That's his like most useful situation right there. But you don't always end up in that situation very often. And when you do, there's a good chance, especially if an IQ is present, that she's going to have already found those drones and knocked them out, or they won't be in the, you know, a good enough position to be able to pull that off, or they'll be spotted moving to that position. A lot of ifs there, so I think people in the past few weeks are more willing to let it go through.
And speaking of not being able to pull it off, with Bug being banned, Jackal wasn't chosen, and on this particular site, Armory and Archives, if you're able to go to server room and Workshop and you have a, you know, secondary shotgun, so to say, like Jackal would have, even Gridlock, you could be able to just disrupt the defense by shooting from below, trying to get those sneaky kills, and it'll put your team in the lead. But Shala currently placing around his black eyes. Hopefully they're in great spots to gather in some valuable intel. So here we are, DarkZero. They're going to be on attack, kick things off. And we're going to lead the way with Nyx. His importance, he's going to be so valuable heading into this matchup. Two ops he needs to worry about, as he is a direct counter once again. But also, Smoke is in play. Great anchor player for Space Station Gaming.
Got the build-up coming in here now from Hyper, who's going to start droning things off from the east side. Obviously, his most important role is still going to be on that western wall. He's able to get into that position, although that's not where he's playing into right now. Still committing himself to breaching open the door here. He's got to be careful. You can see a few red silhouettes just around the corner from him here. Those are his enemies. They are looking to put a stop to him if he tries to push into the long haul, the long 90 leading into the site.
Right, and this is what makes just Maverick so valuable. That silent blowtorch. He's able to get a kill hole, and with a little bit of pre-fire, he gave away his position and he wasn't able to connect, so hey, that was really didn't do much so far. He was hoping to get a pick, but unfortunately he could stay alive and make something happen. But on the flip side of the map, the rest of the team, they're going to go ahead and start to open things up, and they're going to explore around security room to try to get in the armory.
Yeah, SSG in general here didn't really put up a whole lot of defenses on CCTV, so it's pretty much just a walk-in for DarkZero, and I think they've just realized that. So they're going to be able to move in here pretty much conflict-free. You can see they've gotten all 3 of the X-Kairos walls opened back up, or all 3 of the charges have gone off. All 18 of those little pods have popped open. Given a lot of visibility on this western wall for them to play with, including a yokai drone, it looks like. That's been spotted out there.
Yeah, DarkZero, they're wasting no time trying to run directly into the site. But the only thing that's currently stopping them is just the placement of the yokai and Hyper. Pretty much painting pictures on the wall with the blowtorch. Looking through, unable to get the head. The kill hole was just a little bit too high. If it was an inch lower, he would have had great sights and a great line for that headshot. But now, under a minute, the only player that's taken damage so far is going to be Bosco.
I mean, it's just a standoff right now. Ever since we saw the X-Kairos charges get blown up here on the wall, no one from either side has been willing to make a move. And you've got to respect the patience from SSG, but DarkZero have got to be getting frustrated with it now. Not trying anything, not giving them any room to work with. So we're going to start seeing the first round of his, I believe it's Spacestation bolts going to be thrown into the window there. Back over in between lockers, trying to force back the defenders a little bit and let DarkZero take a risk by just pushing in on this wall without having the best intel about what the setup past small office looks like.
Anything worth having isn't going to be given to you, and they're going to have to take it. And DarkZero, they're going to do exactly that. And Code and Hyper picking up their first 2 kills as Rampy redeems his teammates. Able to get one of the refrags, and there you have it. Rampy is going to get a double kill, so back and forth, 10 seconds left to go, and the C4 wasn't able to connect. With a fight on metal stairs, BC is going to come out on top, but the diffuser, 1 second to go, is going to go down, so the plant has happened. Now, it's going to be all up to Rampy on Spacestation Gaming.
Rampy left alone, less than 25 HP to play with, a 1v3, doesn't have great post-plan intel to work off of either unless there's good cameras, and there you go. Doesn't have it, just gonna walk right into Mint's repel position, gives it over to DZ as they take control of round number 1 on the attack.
So, DarkZero, they really didn't have to worry about a roam game at all. All they had to do was get in the site, and pretty much within the last 30 seconds of the game where the kills went through left and right, DarkZero came out on top, and it was ultimately in their favor. BC had a very vital kill over there on metal steps. And Spacestation, I mean, they can do better next time. We didn't see any toxic canisters really go off to really affect the attack at all. But Bosco, once again, he's going to try to redeem that. He's going to don the same operator, Echo and Valkyrie in play again. I believe this is the same setup as before, as we're going to play on the same site. Hyper, by the way, on Maverick, he was so close to getting a few kills. Those blowtorch holes just a little bit too high for his liking. Let's see if he can go ahead and turn that around this time around. But DarkZero, they looked great on that attacking round.
This is still in line as well with the common lineup of operators that we've generally seen from DarkZero on their attacking side on this map. A little different with the Maverick being brought into the pool for them. But other than that, it aligns pretty well with some of what we've seen in past matchups. So we'll continue to dive deeper into this round for the SSG side of things. They're going to, as you were mentioning before, keep things pretty much the same.
One thing I will point out, DarkZero Esports, they've been really good when it comes to making team changes to better the team. You take a look at the BC pickup. Everybody loves BC. I loved him ever since he was on EG. And I forgot who it was on DarkZero. They told me, even at the Invitational, everybody came for BC's autograph. That's all they cared about on DarkZero. But he's been a standout on this team. They picked up Hyper. So maybe they're onto something when it comes to, just picking up these great players that just mesh extremely well. They were top 2 in NA for a reason. But with this latest struggle, these growing pains that they've had since Roster Mania, this has been their biggest test so far.
Now we're going to see they're going to be able to get past at least one of the teams that stands in their way in the form. SSG, DarkZero, of course, a good start to this for them. They get to attack that same site once again. Same as before, zero presence from SSG inside of CCTV. So DarkZero just walks right in and takes it for free. Gives them a lot of room to work with, a lot less they have to worry about in the late round too. And they still got 2 minutes on the clock. Hot and Cold's got pretty much free info on what's going on in offices right now. It's a great drone spot to work off of.
Rampy and Thinking Nate are in great positions roaming right now with their respective operators, Jaeger and Bandit. If they're able to slow down the opposition just momentarily, Spacestation, they would have a great chance, especially with Smoke and Echo being on their side. Hopefully they take out Nyx fast because they do not want those bad guys to be detected and shot out. So, here goes Mint, trying to gather a few kill holes from down below on the first floor, unable to connect so far, and now we will hit the 1 minute and 30-second mark. As DarkZero Esports, they're not really faced with tough roaming presence as of yet. They're still trying to bombard their way in Armory.
Again, though, it's a stalemate at the western wall, and it's not as easy to work their way into it this time. I don't think that the defenders had the band in the last round, and if they did, it was relatively easily dealt with Thatcher grenades. So again, it's probably going to run into the same thing here with Thatcher grenades being present. Bandit tricking hasn't really been working too much recently.
That is nice. So just so you guys know, if you're just tuning in to the game, it's your first time watching Rainbow Six Siege, ever since Capital got the buff, you shoot those boats to the roof and they fall down. Gravity hits, and it's good for clearing out angles. And the few shots coming left and right, thinking he's going to go ahead and get the C4 out. And Spacestation Gaming, for the first time this game, they're going to be up. It's DarkZero. They only have 2 players left. It's Thinkinade gets the double kill.
Much better denial on the wall breach this time. Ibana wasn't able to get past it with X-Kairos, whether it was successfully tricked or something else happened to it. They don't end up going down, and this costs them in a big way. They don't have the vision they need to work their way inside of Armory, and as well, this backflying from Hyper just hasn't found impact yet. He's going to get immediately picked by Chalo right up on top of the main stairs.
Yeah.
Leaving only Mint alive, and he's only got this downstairs spot to play off of. It's got good intel on Shala, but really is not going to be too useful in a 1v5. A flawless round is what we'll have instead for Space Station as they trade it back and send us into a 1-1 scoreline.
With Rampy holding down offense and Shala basically owning that entire domain on metal stairs, I mean, those angles alone wasn't going to allow DarkZero to even make a push towards that hallway into Armory. He was pretty much walking into his own death. And this is what I want to see. Shala is going to be on Mozzie. Mozzie, we've seen it on Reddit. We've seen it on Twitter. People are asking, hey, is he going to be a factor? With the C4, a secondary shotgun, and the ability to hack drones, and, God forbid he hacks a shock drone, Mozzie can be a game changer, man. He's a factor when it comes to intel and just outright slaying. So, let's see if Shala's going to go big as the game is now tied up. 1-1 between DarkZero and Space Station Gaming.
We already got a Mozzie Twitch drone kill. On a stream too.
I saw Kix commentated that. Yeah. That was amazing. It was with DarkZero.
Well, no, that was just a. I think that was just a normal Twitch drone kill. I think at the either. Okay. I'm trying to remember where it was. I think it was at the minor. Someone got one with a Mozzie. Or no, that wouldn't have been possible. Never mind. It wasn't even unlocked at that point. I'm thinking of something else. Ignore me.
No, you're fine, man. All right. So heading into this round, strong showing from DarkZero, but Space Station, they just looked unmatched in that last round of defense. So, coming into the site, let's see if the Rome play is going to be a factor once again. DarkZero Esports, it wasn't like, okay, so the Rome presence for Space Station Gaming, they weren't overwhelming, but they had to be respected. DarkZero still, their mind was just coming in from that balcony to get into Armory, and they weren't able to do so. Once they tried to come in from the hallway, Space Station picked them apart. Shout out to Shala and the great positioning from Rampy.
We should see roam presence increase a little bit more now going into the second site that they'll play onto. To be fair, like, you don't have a whole lot of areas where you need to roam. On Armory, you can play pretty close to the chest and get away with it on that site.
Right.
The only area where you would generally expand is like over towards like CCTV, maybe put one person downstairs, and that's pretty much about it. Obviously on these other sites, there's a lot more room for roamers to catch attackers as they're kind of taking map control, especially on the first floor.
I agree.
So that we're probably going to see a little bit more of it from SSG this time.
And Bosco's currently being tested. He's in a gunfight. He has drones pinging him out. So I saw feet in the air for a moment. It kind of tripped me out.
That's so weird.
Yes.
Propel right there, I think.
But yeah, Bosco managed to stay alive, even though that, his position was provided towards DarkZero Esports. Utilizing Legion, he gets stronger as the round goes, so he's going to want to stay alive and try to make a difference. If he's not able to get a kill, at least burning time is going to be essential for Space Station Gaming. Yeah, they're still working on Bosco at the moment. As you see, he currently shoots out a drone over in security.
See, Mint still trying to work off of his position too, but they're all going to be moving up to try to work their way in. Obviously, Armory still needs to be taking control so you can do top to bottom play. That means defenders are going to put a lot more emphasis on it, as we can see 2 of them holding on to control. Asphyxiation bolts are going to work their way back in to prevent the successful trick. Here it goes down, though. I think it was done in time. No, he had to back away, so.
Yeah. Thinking they lost about half of his health right there. He tried to stay in as long as he can to stop the breach charges coming from Habana, but he didn't want to risk it at all. They were able to get the breach going into Armory, and now the clear is starting to come through for DarkZero Esports. You see a little bit more drone play in Legion, throwing out a bit more goo mines. We're now going to be down to a minute, 7 seconds.
Minute left. DarkZero making questionable progress across the map. They have been able to flush out SSG's defenders, though, to be fair. I don't think anyone's stuck around upstairs to keep the fight going, so they've made Some pretty good progress in that respect, but now they've got to work their way in. Reminder, Buck has been banned out here, so you don't have a whole lot to do when it comes to this floor destruction unless you bring a sledge into play, which might cost you some utility for execute. So DarkZero chosen not to do this here. First Toxic Vape's going to go, and that's going to force players to get behind the half wall. Easy kill for Thinking Nade. They did leave someone upstairs by the looks of it, and it's Thinking Nade with the double as he picks up both Hyper along with another frag. Chala, though, is able to trade onto Mint. Mint also took out, as we saw there before, Thinking Nade before going down. So it leaves just Nyx and BC alive now for DZ against the full 4-man lineup for SSG.
Thanks to Thinking Nade, he's able to get a big double kill to help put Space Station in the lead, and Bosco isn't going to leave him alone. The second set of a 2K is going to come right in and the GOAT, a 6 invitational winner. Too easy. Oh, he shoots the body. You don't shoot the body.
It's got to make sure you can get tested, you know, like lag check, you know? Remember like I used to do that in like older games? Like I don't think it works in Siege, but like
that was a lag test.
You would like yeah, you know, you ever played like Rainbow Six Vegas or something like that? You would like you would shoot the wall and wait to see where the bullet penetrated. And that's how you did a host check because it was all
I remember,
it was all like what's it called? It was like hosted or
that was back when internet just sucked back in the days.
It was peer to peer. It was when the servers were peer to peer. That's right, because that's when everybody played consoles back then.
You're right. So Rampy, you start off on Mozzie. He's gonna go ahead and switch on Alibi. All right, so hopefully we can see some aggressive play. Alibi is a very great primary gun, and let's see if Rampy can go ahead and be that difference maker that we know that he can be.
All right, let's keep moving into it. SSG with the lead, obviously. Still need to build it, and this is when they start moving on to the off sites. You've only got 2 like kind of standard played sites on this map that teams are comfortable with. Once you expand into areas like Visa over here, things are going to get a little bit weird, so we'll see if Space Station is able to adapt into it, considering the fact they do not have any registered competitive play on this map up until today, at least not in recent history.
So hey, the VOD is out. But so far from Space Station Gaming, I mean, what do you like that you see so far? With the wins that they have had, I mean, it's been pretty much one-sided, so to say. I mean, they've been pretty strong, except for that first round that we saw.
Yeah, they got splintered on the first round, right? They made an immediate counter to that, and it was applicable for round 2 as well, because you still have to hold Armory in round 2, or rather when you go down to Workshop. So this is going to be the real test right here for SSG, is if they can continue to hold and can continue to deny DarkZero as much.
Yeah.
Because if not, then obviously we're going to go right back into a tight situation, but we also should be able to start rotating back to either sites. And if DarkZero doesn't find a counter, then SSG's is going to probably start dominating from that point forward again, or just hurdling at a minimum.
We're going to have a strong security room play coming from Rampy and Shala. It's going to be Valkyrie, and also, see a few of those holograms, it's going to be Alibi. So hopefully they can hold DarkZero Esports off just long enough to secure the win for Space Station Gaming as they try to go up 3-1 so far. But DarkZero Esports with a lot to prove. One of the top teams in NA lately, but they've been struggling so far. So, Hyper. He's going to be one of the first ones in the building with Nomad. Expect a few air jabs to go out and some claymores to be placed to stop a few rotations and runouts coming from Space Station Gaming.
Very slow lead up this time for DZ, spending a lot of time doing the drone work. Not a whole lot of action going on in the upstairs balconies either, so not sure how much control they're going to try to vie for up here. Either way, they're going to start moving in, and it's right into the loving arms of Bosco.
Yeah.
Sits back ready inside of Customs and is able to pick up the first frag against IQ. Hyper, though.
There we go.
Able to trade it back against him.
Hyper, I wonder if he's alone currently. Able to pick up 1 kill right now. We all know that he's a great entry fragger. He has a gun skill. Statistically, he can hold his own. I mean, that's pretty easy to say. But DarkZero, even the odds. Legion currently out of play. You have Nomad coming from below.
Nomad gonna put the air jab down. Try to trip players up as they move back through that main hall. Not going to see anything come immediately from that, though. Both teams, again, much like all 3 of the previous rounds, attack kind of stalling out after their initial push. Looking for ways to bring it back, but not covering that flank. Hyper walks right up to Thinking Nade and takes him down.
Workshop was right open for Hyper, and he instantly capitalized. Hanko able to pick one up of his own, but with the run out coming from Rampy, a long distance shot. Mint gets taken to the grave.
Dirty with that MX4. That thing, some crazy spread it seems like once it goes beyond it, but great job controlling it. Keeping this round competitive for SSG. Rampy, of course, has got to be super careful. Now there's really only one spot he can be from that run out position. They know where it is. They're going to keep special mind on him. Plant will get tapped in the meanwhile. Wow, this is some desperation for needing to try and penetrate the ceiling here. They did get some good damage onto one of the members of DarkZero, but the plant is going to end up going down. They still are able to snipe out a player from upstairs regardless, but like I said, that plant's gone down. Now is where the problem is going to start to show up here for SSG. DarkZero can just hop out the windows. They got a good plant position for that. Here's the hard run out now from Rampy. Runs back inside main. Nearly gets caught in the process. Down to under 25 HP now. Other players going to use that as a distraction to drop back down inside of Visa office. The peek up coming in from Hibana on the other side of the equation here. The aim from Fultz way off the mark. So it gives Hot and Cold the frag. And now we're down to Rampy. 1v2. He's pushing against the tide here. Lines up a headshot, but Hot and Cold strikes first. And DZ find the response round to tie us again at 2-2.
That was so unfortunate. Spacestation Gaming, they had great control coming from up top on the second floor. They had the vertical destruction, but they were able to peek down, but they just weren't able to stop the plant in time. They weren't able to get the view on them, and with the sights that wasn't provided to them, DarkZero Esports, they capitalized on it. Few air jabs were put in place, and that made the push that much harder. That made the retake so much harder for Spacestation Gaming to come back in. Unfortunately, Fultz aimed a little bit too high, and he was punished for it. So here we are, round number 5, tied game. DarkZero Esports, Spacestation Gaming, 2-2.
Tie's going to be a trigger word soon for Space Station.
It is.
That and draw.
Yeah. But folks is going to be on dock once more. Great play by Hyper. Either way, Hyper's flank coming through security and was just able to catch a player prone. If he didn't step into gold mine, if he would have walked up even more, just looked straight to his left on the floor, the placement was perfect. He probably would have picked up a 2K. But either way, DarkZero, they still won. And Hot and Cold, he's going to be on top, 4-3.
It's a bit of a slow start right now, but we'll see if he can bring that back in future rounds here. Arguably the same issue, I think, for Fultz, was that? Can we get the Sunisa scoreboard for like 2 more seconds? Yeah, Fultz as well, still with 0 kills. Does have 3 assists, but
pretty unfortunate. So coming into this matchup, what is the biggest story? And we know roster mania is a thing, but what do you want to see more of when it comes to these two teams?
I think we just want to see what kind of like styles they're bringing out with the new rosters and like borders, like especially for SSG, right? Since like this is like the first time they're playing border in a pretty long time. DarkZero, we don't have a whole lot of tape on them for it. It's not like like Rogue where they just play this map all the time.
Yeah.
So it's always interesting to try and get stylization for what these teams like to do. But for DarkZero here, I think it's going to be like what I want to see from them is how they get over this like mid-round hump that they keep putting themselves into, where they get good control, but they slow it down arguably a little bit too much and end up stalling out for the actual attack. It hasn't been like a major. It hasn't been. It's like it hasn't necessarily outright lost them rounds yet, but in combination with a few other things, it has put them behind pretty far and opened up some flanks. But at the same time, it's also been able to give them a few opportunities to turn around these rounds back into their favor. So
one thing I really like about this match is just how even it is for both teams. And Nyx able to catch a player dropping down in a workshop, and now he's going to slowly try to move in. His IQ, he's going to run around, shoot out a little. The default cameras that are laying around, I thought the push was going to happen there. That's why I kind of stalled. But Nyx, he wants to fight. He's working forward, and Shala trying to see if he could peek a shot, and there it goes. Shots through the smoke, and he was unable to do so. The Lion is in play, but there it is. Rampy is going to get the first blood, taking out Hyper.
Plank going down for... You see right there, it is going to work out to put it down. Rampy, though, finds another kill. This isn't working out too well. Second scan in, though. That's going to hold the defenders back. The Lion rush, for how messy it is working out right now as it got the plant onto the ground. Mint with the first trade in the favor of DZ, and these are the biggest issues is players like Hot and Cold outside the window. He's going to be so hard to deal with. Finally pushing, okay, never mind. He's going to be able to walk right up, find an instant pick, but Nyx, the triple kill out of absolutely nowhere on the IQ. It's nearly ended it now. It's all down on Chala. Does find some good intel. Knows he's got a player hiding behind the garage. The walk up and pump for the M590, but there's no time left. He has to run back to that pile of his teammates' corpses, try to get the defuse off. It's not going to work, though. Mint's there for yet another trade. A quad kill on the round for him. And DZ take the lead at 3-2.
So unfortunate, man. It was right there. It was pretty much a bloodbath in Armory, and then it carried over to Archives. Great win for DZ. But Spacestation Gaming still a great showing. Both teams really showing their might at the moment. One more round till we go into halftime. So let's see if we're going to see a back and forth game as Space Station is looking to win one more. But DarkZero, they want to go ahead into halftime with, a dominant lead. Dominant lead by 2. But still, you know, twice as much Spacestation Gaming. They really want to spread that lead. But the site's going to go down to Ventilation and Workshop. Mozzie is in play once again. And, yeah, both teams, great plays all around. You can't really fault a player for making a bad play. I mean, just the pure gun skill coming in from it was insane. DarkZero, they were so aggressive on attack, looking for those roamers. They weren't shying away from the fights, and that's what I love to see. They have so much confidence heading into this game right now, and it's starting to show now that they're starting to pick things up.
So with DarkZero, the pressure slowly leaning into their favor. The team's starting to get more and more confident in their executes. I was talking about that mid-round stall, and they fixed it by just skipping the early round, basically, going right to the late round with that easy plant that they found there.
By the way, I want to give a big shout out. We have a lot of celebrities in the chat. Get flanked. We have some supporters of Spacestation Gaming. Great content from both of these organizations. You really have to respect it. Coming into the scene, Get flanked. I love the podcast and the talk shows that he currently has. His interviews with pro players is very insightful. You learn a lot about the game, and you really dig into the mindset of these professional players. So, hey, great job all around from both sides, but let's see who's going to be the best right here at USN. There's both teams. They're fighting. They're going to the finals to play against Parallax Gaming. By the way, I didn't want to call it out. Sorry to cut you off. Dr. being lying. All we needed was a blitz. That would have been it.
Just maximum intel, you know? End up seeing DarkZero push their way in. I mean, that is like still a really crazy combo to use. They were able to deny movement from defense, and that's large part how they snuck off the defuse plant so early on in the round there. Plus a bit of shock to Spacestation. And Spacestation still almost brought it back. Like, that's why it was kind of risky for DarkZero. You saw it was brought down to like a 3v5 at the beginning of that round, and they still had to battle back from it. So good stuff to DZ to keep that piece together. Now they're right back where they started, though. Looking for control of Armory, or excuse me, looking for control, I believe we're on Workshop right now. Try and bring this back really into their favor at a 4-2 halftime score.
But the drone play is amazing. You see drones jumping on top of lockers inside of Armory. And the intel and the sights that's going to be provided towards DarkZero is going to be second to none. So great placement. Claymore currently being placed over in CCTV. And now we're going to see DarkZero now as they're ending the secondary drone phase to really push in the side and try to get a pick. But we hear a few air jabs, so they're currently placed. So once again, Spacestation, they're going to have to be careful for these runouts, especially when it comes to time to be aggressive.
The rest of SSG still spread out right now. Thinking Nade, if he's able to get one of those members of DZ to push forward a little bit more, he can find a fight, but no, Hyper gets the advantage instead in the duel. Can't finish it off though, those metal bars always getting in the way, and so Thinking Nade will survive for now. Down about 30 or 40 HP from it, unfortunately.
All right. You have a pest pretty much harassing this drone right now. That's been set by Nyx, but Habana is going to be hot and cold donning her. She's going to go ahead and open up a few of the sites going in to the site, but Bosco is going to slow down the push, taking Mintz out the game. Mint, excuse me.
Pre-fire there for Mint, so he ends up losing the 1v1. First kill we've seen, though, we're already at 40 seconds left, so both teams playing incredibly passively. Either that or, again, DarkZero just not able to find the execute point that they've wanted in previous rounds. They're going to get further enough, however, to at least get onto the site, sneaking off, or seemingly sneaking off this plant. Thinking Nade, though, able to deny it. Rampy dropping down. Didn't end up getting that knife kill, unfortunately, but Fultz is going to take it away from him as he takes out Hyper. Thinking Nade finds another pickup, though, for his double kill as he takes out Nyx, leaving just BC alive. Way upstairs, he's just looking for kills at this point, trying to pad stats. Getting that diffuser onto the ground is a bit in the realm of fantasy, and we'll see that indeed become the case with Fultz picking up the last kill. Spacestation still firing right back after every response from DZ as they tie it again at 3-3.
Was that Fultz's first kill?
I think it was.
I believe so. Welcome to the club, folks. Welcome to the game. I love him. Pretty much. Like I said, the story is both of these players really getting comfortable with their new teams. But now we're in the halftime. Both sides, we're going to go ahead and flip side. Spacestation Gaming, now they're going to try their hand on attack. Pretty much an even game. We're not going to say that this series has been dictated by, you know, an attack or defensive-sided map so far. Both teams finding success on different sites. With Echo immediately coming into play from DarkZero, pretty much what we saw from Spacestation in the beginning. This series is going to come to use. Also, Kite is going to be in play as well.
I mean, it's basically like what you expect from this level of play, right? So we're seeing like a nice even trade of rounds across the board, a good testing of sights for the defenders, and here we go. There's a nice little graph. Like, you know, not very streaky or anything like that. You just bounce it back and forth between the two teams, and not in a consistent way either. So very nice even match so far in the first half. A great evolution between the rounds for both of our teams as well. So now starting to see that all happen all over again, except this time it's Spacestation on the attack, DarkZero on the defense. 4 rounds needed by both teams to win.
Bosco is an animal. He's leading away with Rampy right now, and you'll love to see it. But in regards to the way that the rounds ended, I'm pretty much not shocked that it all came down to deaths. Because of the fact that the games never really came down to a 1v1, 2v2 situation. Pretty much both teams, they were valuing their lives down to the very last second, to where it all came down to a big team fight getting into the site. Both teams playing textbook gameplay, and that's what you love to see.
Now that goo mine is going to be right before the window. So if he's not distracted by anything else, and he has that window double punched already. Oh, it's spotted though, so it's not going to work out. But yeah, someone ran into that, and he managed to have the window double punched to pick that up, then that could have been a potentially cool run out, but we're going to see that happen.
All right, so IQ currently doing their job, shooting out default cams, and currently trying to see where the yokai drones are. Goo mines will also be accessible to her detector, so she's gonna have a really important job, and Han Code's gonna go ahead and hold down the armory with this Echo. I love DarkZero's setup, by the way. Both sides of the site, they're pretty much locking it down. But whoever's in CCTV currently is being droned out. Folks saw him with his drone. Him staying alive is going to be so important, but Thinkinade on attack. He's going to be the first one to spill blood, taking Hyper out the game with a nice headshot.
You can see the increased emphasis for DarkZero on holding areas like CCTV. Nick's going to be a little bit careful, actually nearly loses himself. He's trying to play into it with a Legion. That does mean he needs to remain relatively mobile, with the problem of that means that he's going to be spotted out a lot. Hard pinged under some circumstances, we can see right now as he's been found. There's the attempt to run him down. They keep missing these window crosses by a tiny hair, though. So he's going to continue to stay alive and continue to waste time, which for him, he knows he's trapped right now. He knows he doesn't have anywhere to run. So this is great. He's wasting utility in the process, too. Got at least 1 bolt shot out from Capitao. So if he goes down here even without a kill, I think he's happy with it, considering they've already got a 5v4.
Especially taking Hyper out the game. I mean, that's an absolute gunner. That's currently not going to be in a session until the next round. Behind Code, it's going to be a late refrag. As Shala going to fall victim to him. So, Habana out the game. That's going to be Spacestation Gaming's only hard breacher. But with the time breaking down, we have a minute left. First floor currently being occupied by Spacestation Gaming, as now the push will surely commence, as the toxic smoke is going to come from the smoke player. It's going to be BC.
Fault still attempting to look for any pick he might be able to find against Nyx. There's still a second player on the inside of this CCTV for DarkZero last time I checked it too, although I don't know if they've changed that up. They've got the ping again to try and find Nyx or someone else sitting in the back of the site from DZ, but they aren't able to get the kill so easily. It's BC that will finally end up going down. Nyx still able to trade from it. Able to find Rampy, keeping us even into a 3v3 with 20 seconds left. Everyone from DarkZero are stuck on the inside or nearby. Or, excuse me, everyone from SSG are stuck on the inside or near CCTV. They don't have an easy way to push back in. Hot and cold, look, he's got time to just casually reposition yokai drones, and there are 10 seconds left. Where's the execute? Well, we're gonna see it. The problem is it walks right into a stun from a yokai. They even leave her alive to give them false hope of a res, but it's not gonna happen. Nyx shuts them all down. A quad kill on the round for him.
Even though IQ lasted for a very long time in that round, the yokai play was the best that we have seen in a while here in USN. The intel that was gathered at first, he was able to rotate it back around towards the entrance of Armory. And with that first stun, Nyx was able to get a triple kill, and that pretty much closed things up for DarkZero Esports. Great opportunity that was taken advantage of from Nyx.
With that, well, it's DarkZero. They're going to have to be very cautious now as they move further into these rounds. As it is SSG that is chasing them. DarkZero looking to get the closeout on this matchup. Into the next round we will go.
One thing I really like about DarkZero, they're heavy when it comes to just, secondary intel. All these cameras, you bring Mozzie into the game. Echo was vital. You always bring Valkyrie. Legion was definitely huge as well. They love gathering all that extra bit of help that they could possibly get to where they know exactly where the push was coming from. You saw on the very last push that Spacestation Gaming had, I mean, they pretty much walked into their own death. They walked into a straight up L. DarkZero knew exactly when they were coming. The stun came through, and it was pretty much an easy win. So let's see if the intel game is just going to be too strong for Spacestation so far in the hands of DarkZero Esports. We haven't seen Mozzie come in absolutely huge yet so far today in our USN matches. I'm waiting for him to go off.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's going to be a little bit hard to tell, when we see that game-defining drone play happen, when he is able to steal some drones, just because we have to be kind of on his perspective to see it.
Yeah.
I'm sure we're going to get a decent amount of the usefulness from him.
All right, so here we are.
Which may not be immediately apparent if we don't catch it on the streams. We'll see.
It's pretty interesting because one of the main primary guns that Mozzie had was pretty much similar to what Visual had. But the pros, they've been really hard stuck on his PP-10, and it's been a pretty good weapon, especially up close. But Fultz shooting down the door in the CCTV, he barely missed a player. I don't think that he even saw him in the first place, as we have a roamer just staying put. Just thinking he's going to take his time, drone it out, try to have the best play possible to take him out the game so that player doesn't affect any of their pushes later on as the time windows down.
For the rest of SSG now, they're still having to vie for upstairs control, seeing as they're now attacking Workshop. This means CCTV is also going to be under the control of their opponents here and cause issues for them as they try to swing back. And they're actually trying to deny West ramp control in general from the inside. That means we have to see 3 out of 4, if I heard the noise correctly, of the bolts being used there. Yeah, 3 out of 4 of the bolts. He's only got 1 micro smoke left being used by Fultz. A lot of utility being exercised very early on in the round.
And it's extremely early. We were hitting, a few seconds below 2 minutes. And with that much utility being used, especially from Capital, I mean, that's rough, especially when you try to come into the site. I hope he saved the smoke for the later push coming into the round. Oh, but the 1v1.
Shut the monitor.
Right. It's almost as if they know where each other are. But kicking a nade, Rampy with his Kobe impersonation, he's going to miss straight up. And he's going to get downed immediately. Great shot by Mint. I'm not sure if Mint was even the one that downed him.
We'll see about that in just a second once he gets finished off. If he gets finished off, this is. Coming down to just about a minute left, SSG. We've already basically lost 2 out of 5. As soon as we see the confirmation on Rampy. But to be fair, it's been down a while, so we'll have to see someone. Yeah, he's crawling to a relatively safe position, so maybe he is going to get up. But reminder, if you haven't been following Siege in the recent months, obviously that res HP has been nerfed, so he's only at 20, meaning he's still very, very susceptible to being immediately down the next time he gets into a fight.
Major oof. We have a drone coming in to Workshop currently. BC is going to get called out, most definitely. And Mint, he's going to go ahead and put DarkZero up one more, taking out Bosco. So the IQ player is going to be taking out the game. You don't have an Echo to worry about, but definitely the black guys coming from Valkyrie to gather a ton of intel. But moving down the hallway currently, Hyper's looking towards CCTV, not able to see anybody just yet. With the EMP being thrown, thinking he's thinking of a push with the rest of Space Station Gaming. There's only 8 seconds left to go, and with the push from DarkZero going in the server room, the shots come through, and DarkZero won this quite handily. I mean, Space Station Gaming, from the beginning, it spelled doom for them, with Rampy going down and the added utility that was wasted earlier on in CCTV. It was pretty rough. They wasted so many resources earlier on in the game when we were right by the 2-minute mark. That's rough. That's rough. So DarkZero, they just had to aim down the sights, get the kills, and Space Station, they didn't have the added utility to get into the site to block off any type of vision. So DarkZero up 5-3.
It's a flawless round for DarkZero that puts them this far ahead. 2 more to go, and the matchup is theirs. And we'll take it over into our final matchup of the day coming up after this. SSG need to recover quickly here. These have been 2 very flat attacks. They need to come up with a way to deal with that extended roaming presence from DarkZero. Not even really roaming, just the extended hold that we've had from them. It's been causing them so many issues in the early round.
All right, so let's see what both of these teams have up their sleeve currently. matching up with you right now and being pretty much the analyst side of the casting pair is pretty much interesting. You know, I watch a lot of Parker, I watch a lot of Kicks, and the way they explain the game is pretty much beautiful. It's like it's poetry, essentially. And when it comes to watching the way that these two teams play and the difference in strategy in the meta is pretty interesting, especially watching new operators come to play like Mozzie. It's a really fun learning process. And like I've said a million times before, man, I'm really happy to be here with you and just learning, watching two top-tier teams go at it, especially with the story that both of them bring. Pretty much the same story.
Yeah.
So, DarkZero, esports, still trying to prove they're one of the best teams out there. Spacestation Gaming trying to right their wrongs so far after 2 major team changes. They're fighting from behind. Let's see if they have it in them.
Of course, having to start the round off the sites. They did go to bathrooms for this one. Whereas we saw Spacestation choosing to go over towards Visa instead for this third site that they would have to play into. This is the real test for DarkZero. This is where Spacestation were able to shoot ahead after losing a first round, but then started to get into a little bit of a bumpier ride once they got to these off sites. The same fate may await DarkZero, but they also have a bit more tape on this map. And overall, especially with the defensive side so far, seem to be a little bit more prepared for it.
Pretty much, there's going to be the basic clearing of the CCTV, make sure the Stone Roman's in there, and Thinking A with the beautiful drone throw. Pretty much went 5 yards behind him as it hit the generator in front of him, but Rampy going for scouting out the hallway.
Going for trick shots.
Pretty much, right?
It's like bottle flipping, but in Siege.
So, yeah, we're going to have one player prone, I believe in Archives. Yeah, it's going to be 2 of them. Thinking A, he's going to definitely run into gunfire sometime soon. DarkZero, they hear audio cues. The door has been destroyed, so the IQ currently holding an angle. We're going to see who the first blood is currently going to go to.
Well, for the time being, that's not going to be anyone. Still got very, very slow lead-ups coming in now.
Well, the hatches up top on the second floor is going to be vital with Spacestation Gaming to try to drop down in the site. But taking Archives is going to be a problem, and Hyper is going to prove that. Thinking they tried him. He was tested, and he failed immediately. And with Hot and Cold able to utilize the drone that he was able to snatch, he knows exactly where IQ is. And IQ, she has nowhere to go. Trapped in the corner, Nyx is going to make quick work of her. DarkZero Esports, 5-3.
Great job from DarkZero. Like, when they get intel on someone from Spacestation, especially if he's not with anyone, is on his own. DarkZero been pouncing on those opportunities and not wasting a second doing so. Really good job at hunting players down once they get the intel to work off of here. Round showing a great instance of that. SSG now down to 3. They've got their execute operators for the most part. The only one they're missing right now is the Thatcher, but Rampy makes a good push on Zofia. Takes out Hot and Cold. It's going to get a good, this should be pretty impactful stun lineup, but apparently not, but doesn't matter. Lines up the frag against Hyper. Mint trades it back down to even, though, as he finds Rampy.
There you have it. Rampy was such a huge play, able to get the stun and the double kill. But slowly moving on, it's going to be Folks using one of those asphyxiated boats. It's not going to come into effect. There's nobody there, but clearing out Office, that's just the first step. Taking out Mint is definitely the second. DarkZero Esports finds himself in a 1v2. The utility is still on Folks' side. It's going to be all up to BC. Pretty sure his teammates are on the black guys, getting some intel, but with the diffuser going down, and C4 gets boned, and he's not able to get the kill. The line was shut off with one of Capital's boats, but BC got the down. Shala finished the job, and Spacestation Gaming wins the round.
Oh, he's going to be so mad when he watches that replay and sees just how close the C4 was as well.
I know.
Little bit overthrown. Other than that, was in a near perfect position then in order to pick up the kill and win the round without even having to see that second player. And even then, still almost gets the clutch. Not going to happen this time. SSG staying alive, bringing it back with some good mid-round trades there. Put us at a 4-5 scoreline, one away from the tie again. Of course, no game-ending ties to be had here at USN. Teams have to go the distance. If they tied 6-6, we play those last 3 rounds.
The Mozzie play was pretty much game-changing coming from DarkZero Esports. Hacking a drone, figuring out exactly where IQ was and getting an easy kill. That was essential. But it was Rampy that really turned the page for Spacestation Gaming, and he turned the ties to go into his team's favor. He was able to go ahead, utilize his utility, able to get the stun, the nice kill on Mozzie, got the second headshot. Unfortunately, he died, but his teammates carried out his wishes and they won a round. So here we are, Spacestation Gaming 1 round away from doing their favorite thing, tying it against DarkZero, trying to stop him.
Let's see if they can get it done. DarkZero still just a few rounds back here. But at the same time, this last round continues the story we've had going all game of constant evolutions from both teams. Just took SSG a little bit longer to come back into the fold on that last round. The two first pickups that we saw from DZ seem to be looking good and almost closed out the third round too, so feeling a little bit more confident on those offsites. But herein lies the problem now for SSG, and that they go back to the more commonly played sites. We're an armory after all. This is where DarkZero are going to feel a lot more comfortable.
DarkZero, they've been pretty good holding up these sites, especially on the second floor, and with no secondary shot going to play the verticality of the soft destruction isn't pretty much going to be a big factor. We saw a nice trick shot coming from Capital, but that was on the end of DarkZero Esports. Pretty much doubt Spacestation's going to go that route. They pretty much push things head on when it comes to DarkZero, coming from different angles and not trying to really come from behind to shoot from below. So, with Nixon play on Legion, he's going to be essential in stopping a lot of aggressive pushes. The intel gathered from him is going to be extremely valuable, but once again, the Echo play should be good for DarkZero. Last time he was in play, he single-handedly won the round with the intel gathered, plus the stun. Might happen once more, if the opportunity calls for it.
Slow play is still going to have to be the name of the game here right now, though, as SSG once again look for ways to get past the soft wall. Nix on the inside. He did this the last time we played on this site. He's going to try to cause problems again from the inside of CCTV. Dealt with a lot more quicker this time, though, and he was a major thorn in their side when they attempted this site previously.
So Hyper holding it down right now. Hatch was open above, and it's going to be Rampy with the soft destruction. You know, the player is right there. But patience is currently going to pay off for the roamer on DarkZero Esports. But Bosco surely moving up. Now, the plan is going to be to get rid of this single roamer. Once they do that, the hatch is open and it's going to be free drop in the site if they can get in safe. But time is starting to tick, and this player is still left alive. They have to make this move.
A little over a minute left for these guys to make a play. Rampy strikes next by being able to find Hyper. That should clear out most of the CCTV presence. Giving them a lot more room to play off of here. Rampy, get a little bit careful with moving forward if they want to go in downstairs, of course. The position lineup outside. Mint is going to be able to make the next impact, though, as he catches Chala moving in on position in Hibana there. So apparently that south door entry leading into CCTV is not as clear as they would like, as it's still causing them issues.
Oh, not at all. Now pushing down to 42 seconds left in the game. DarkZero, they're doing a pretty good job holding things back because Spacestation are bringing a rather passive approach to really inching closer to this site. Deaconate is still flirting around in the CCTV area. But Bosco is going to get right in, shoots the camera. But behind that shield, it's going to be Mint. The aiming down the sights with the ACOG, he knows that where the shot's coming from, and he's going to instantly retreat. The fight isn't one that's going to be in his favor. So repositioning, it's going to be in Fountain, looking. A little bit of soft destruction, with the toxic smoke coming through, hot and cold. It's going to get the peak on Ramp.
Other players are going to attempt to run back in here. It's going to be a bit of a parade spree, but ultimately left down to their Thatcher Bosco, who can't hold it out. Actually, I think was thinking need. Either way, he goes down. And we'll see another round picked up by DZ. It's hot and cold, finishes things off. DZ also push up onto map point.
Hyper and DZ were going off so much that Hyper dropped from the lobby. He wanted to give Spacestation a breather. He wanted to give him a break a little bit, give him time to readjust, because listen, man, 6-4, DarkZero, they're on map point. There's going to be a best of one, so Spacestation, they're not going to have a second try if they don't win this next round. They're going to have to play perfect, and he was able to get right into the game. Hyper is going to jump in the lobby, and he's going to land on Mozzie. We were saved from the rehost.
If you can check with the lineups that we've seen today, though, Mozzie again going to continue to be experimented with as we keep pushing through the first few days of the new season. He's going to get 6 picked in, however.
Yeah.
So swap out, trying to reduce the efficiency of droning power, which I think was how they were able to find the lesion so easily inside of CCTV in the last round. So trying to cycle Mute back in and hopefully reduce the amount of times that happens.
I really love what DarkZero is starting to do with their defensive stance. I mean, they're not just holding down site, obviously, but, you know, their presence in holding down rooms in order to get to the site, protecting the hatches to drop down to get the plant. I mean, it's been pretty successful. I mean, yes, these roamers aren't getting a ton of kills, but doing a pretty good job of just holding Spacestation at bay. The time that's wasted is valuable, and the fact that Spacestation loses that it's making things harder to where they're having to depend on these last-minute pushes without having all of the angles provided to them. But Hyper, a little bit of self-destruction coming in from that secondary weapon. You're going to feel these pests coming through, and Castle Barricades going to make it pretty much harder to get into that very site. So with their own presence coming from Mozzie, I want to see Hyper use him to the best of his ability, and let's see if he has it in him.
We're going to see in a second here SSG start their move in. Sights changed once again, of course. We're back down in the workshop for essentially the last time in this matchup here. So that same upstairs hold is going to be present from DarkZero. The positions used to keep it, though, are going to be a little bit different. We're not going to see as much active hold on areas like CCTV anymore. The defense is going to be a lot more focused on offices, archives, and the actual armory, so as to not give over an easy top-down floor play to the guys on SSG.
This matchup is going to do so well from DarkZero Esports if they're able to close out this round. Just their mentality, their attitude, the way they approach the game. Out of this team change, it's growing pains. It's going to start to go away a little bit faster now. They're able to rack up a win against a team on this level of play, this tier, Spacestation Gaming. Definitely not a pushover. One of the top teams in the game, and with bottom presence, you see DarkZero being patient, looking through those tiny little bullet holes, waiting for a rotating player from Spacestation Gaming to just step into the line of fire.
It's going to take us through a few players on SSG on the inside of 90 now. They've worked their way through. Take the cutoff into CCTV once again, just to be safe. They do have a player from DarkZero sitting in the corner here. It's going to be Nyx. Once again, he's ready to take the fight, but only for one punch this time. Chala's there, immediately trades him out. We again find ourselves in a 4v4, but Nyx continues to do a good job of holding on to CCTV.
So even though Rampy goes out, the trade definitely comes through. The sledge player Rampy, the entry guy, the big playmaker coming from Spacestation Gaming, he's going to be the first to exit. So now it's going to be all up to the rest of the members here. They cannot afford to lose. And with some of the pre-fire coming from Bosco, he's hoping to get a nice little headshot or a nice little line of fire by knocking down some of his wood from self-destruction. But hot and cold, he's going to be the one that's able to land a shot. Able to get the peek, and he peeks right back in and takes folks out the game. Clean shot coming from him, a nice shot. But now, 35 seconds. Bosco and Shala, do they have what it takes?
Bosco going hunting. Playing the theme game here, but it's not going to pan out that well for him. Isn't able to yield a whole lot from it. SSG also down a man, so they need to find another way to shoot ahead of this. Black Eye camera works right in the middle. The stairwell there is going to be spotted out, and BC with a nice find deletes Bosco through the brackets. It's going to leave just Chala in the fight. Not a whole lot left to play for, unfortunately, and we're going to see, although Chala gets the immediate trade on Hyper, Hyper finishes off the game, and with that, it's going to be DarkZero moving forward into our final match of the evening. SSG will be stopped here, knocked out of the bracket, and have to start again on Saturday.
Unfortunately, the rocket ship ran out of fuel. Spacestation Gaming, they're going to have to make a detour to play in the qualifiers this weekend for the U.S. Nationals, because DarkZero, they got the best of them, and the story is set. DarkZero, they're able to get, a huge win going off against this team, and take a look at the stats. Nyx, 11-8, hot and cold, 10-5-7. Pretty much even all around for Spacestation Gaming, but pretty disappointing finish from them. There was times where they showed life, and they just couldn't overcome just the takes. the setups that DarkZero ultimately had to lead into the site. They didn't have a problem getting into the site. It's just that first push, that first wave, because the roam play, but the nice ACOG work coming from Nyx and everyone else. They frag out, and man, what more can you say? But BC is definitely good, but Nyx, to me, was my standout player.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty much the same for me with how well, even just considering the second half play, I really like to talk about when it comes to him, the amount of time he wasted in CCTV, along with other spots on the map. Even if he wasn't super successful in the kill department, sometimes they went 1-for-1 and whatnot, it took them so long to push him out every single round that he's getting the credit just on the efficiency that he was able to play into those situations with.
Take a look at these plays. This was a really fun game to commentate over because it was top plays left and right. We got a lot of different looks, a lot of different strategies, some that I've never seen before, and it was really fun to watch. It was informative. But the Mozzie play, especially this one right here, where Mozzie was able to hack the drone, call out IQ, and allowed the Castle to come in and get that kill, absolutely devastating from that play. But Rampy tried his heart out, had a few big moments left and right, but unfortunately that wasn't enough for Spacestation Gaming. Folks, and the rest of his new teammates. They're still going to have to go back to the lab, work on their strategy, and work on that chemistry a little bit. It's going to take some time to gel.
Yeah.
DarkZero made that team change. Even though Hyper had a great match, it wasn't overnight. Rome wasn't built in a day.
Seeing improvements, right? No more ties.
No more. I mean,
they moved to step up a bit.
That's not a step up. But yeah, there you have it. DarkZero, they come out on top. They're going to go against Parallax Gaming.
Yeah. So we'll see our MVP picks right here. Once again, both of us favoring Nyx this time around. So we'll be sure to get his stats up on the tables. We'll take a look at exactly what he brought to the table in terms of his cost and entry power too.
First off, shout out to CGG. You cannot give them enough. That's a nice little close up on the camera. CGG, you guys are the best. I love you. You guys are phenomenal. We love the stats. If you're new to Siege and you love looking at overviews of the stats and the maps and which team wins each round, they have it all, man. They have it all. The best news outlet you can possibly find here in Rainbow Six Siege.
Yeah, definitely go ahead and check those guys out. Let's now set up our final match of the evening as well. We're going to see DarkZero go up against a new challenger that's been stepping up here and see how well they're able to face off against them. We talked about it before, and they even said it in the interview that they're going to have to try and use some play that throws off DarkZero. They're going to have to try and be a little bit more aggressive, and because they don't have any VOD, they don't know how they're going to play. So they can probably get away with some crazier stuff, considering the DarkZero is probably going to go into that matchup with zero information.
Well, ultimately, I mean, you really don't have a choice going against DarkZero. I mean, let's be quite honest. How often does a team on that level get to scrim against DarkZero?
Yeah.
Not at all. So you're going to have to bring out that unpredictability. But we actually have an interview. I wonder who it is. It's going to be somebody on the winning team from DarkZero. And it's going to be Nyx. What's up, man? How you doing?
What's going on, Valley? How are you, man?
I'm doing all right. So, Nyx, listen. There's been a lot of questions. I'm trying to get in the frame right now. There's been a lot of questions about your team from Allied and what's been happening lately in certain leagues. You guys picked up Hyper. You didn't find instant success. Winning against a team like Spacestation Gaming, I mean, is that a feel-good moment for you, a feel-good feeling for you?
Oh, definitely. That game, after winning that game, we knew that if we just did the things that we've been practicing over the past few weeks and just focused on our strengths, then we would, most of the time come out on top. But the win, getting that win feels really good. So. Right.
So be honest with this. You could be real. You're talking to me, man. You're going against a team that you don't have a lot of film against, not a lot of practice against. You're going against a team like this, Parallax Gaming. What runs through your head? You don't know what to expect. So, what's the right mentality to have to go into this matchup?
I mean, I see them as just another team. You don't want to go into the match underestimating anyone. So we're going to go into this game playing our game, and not really focus on what they're doing so much. As long as we trade effectively, use teamwork. I'm assuming they're going to be playing super hyper aggressive, like a lot of these lower, not trying to say lower end teams, but some of these teams that may not be pro or challenger league, they tend to do. But as long as we just focus on our game and play the way, like I said, focus on trades, it should be fine.
Right, you and I, we haven't talked much, but I've always had a question on my mind. Looking at Hyper, especially from his stats, I mean, it's pretty much a no-brainer to pick him up. Other than that, what really stood out that made you guys believe he was the right one for DarkZero?
Just who he was as a person. I think his ethic, his work ethic, fits really well into our mold. He's really hungry and young, so his drive to be better and to make us better is something that we really want in a player. Paul, being one of the youngest members in the team, he wants us to improve every single day, and his ambition really helps that.
All right, so very last question. Hey, anything you want to say to the fans out there? I know there's people like Parker and Get Flanked in the chat. What do you want to say to your supporters? You guys have a lot of them.
I just want to say thank you to all our supporters. We really appreciate everything. Sorry for the lackluster performance yesterday on Border, but glad we can come back today on Border and get a dub. So thanks to everyone that supports us through our losses and our wins. We appreciate it.
Hey, that's what it's all about, rolling through the punches. But I want to thank you and good luck in your next matchup. Hey, don't look over this team, all right, man?
Thanks, Felly.
All right, good luck. All right, so you have it. You know what? That was such a humble interview. So when you're a top-tier team, you go against a team that's really the unknown. I mean, a lot of people will laugh and say, oh, it's going to be easy. We're going to run through these Randys. But, he respects them.
Yeah.
You love to see.
I mean, you can't underestimate a team like that.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to show up with a very confident, I guess we'll say, attitude and
get bodied.
end up losing,
Right.
So that's certainly not the way to play. So at least they're going to be courteous about it, as we would expect, of course. And we'll see how this pans out when we do get into that matchup. It should be a good one, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be our next and final matchup. Same as before, though, it's going to be a best of one, which, in my opinion, further increases the chance we could see something crazy happen. Because in best of one,
hey, we've seen it before.
Especially like newer teams, they get the snowball roll and the momentum snowball, which like so many of those teams at that level rely on that. But the thing is, they rely on it to a point where if it gets going, it is really hard to stop it. So we'll see.
All right.
See.
And even coming into USN, how many times have we seen DarkZero, Rise Nation, or even Rogue just get beat unexpectedly? No one saw that coming at all. But now DarkZero, they made their way to the finals. They have one more game to win to be entered into the Eastern playoffs to make it to LAN.
Which is a little bit harder this season, like we said before.
Oh my God.
A little bit easier for you guys at home to get access to, that's for certain. We only had 2 teams going into our conference playoffs last stage. This time it's 4 teams per conference. So you definitely want to be heading over to our website at play.r6usnationals.com to find all the information you need on how to jump into that. Before we close out the segment, let's take a quick look at the combined team stats here. Actually, incredibly even looking at it now.
Yeah.
But you can see here again, when it comes to the way that the objective game was played, that definitely seems to be where DarkZero got the edge, especially on their attacking side.
So the thing is, looking at these stats, it just goes to show stats aren't everything in this game. Coming from different games like you and I mean, stats are ultimately king. This game is just, it's all about teamwork and objective, man. So, I mean, that's pretty much it. Congratulations to DarkZero. They're coming up next to play in the finals. Good luck to Spacestation Gaming in the future. But after this short break, we're going to see the finals. Parallax against DarkZero.